Barely. I can, but it's my fault, not yours.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to start the meeting. Just so you know, I got my son, the executive director of the McGraw Foundation, on the line.
How you doing, Doug?
Good morning. Good to see you again.
Same here. Long time no see.
Yeah, real long time, like 5-6 years. Hey, how long does this last, Harry?
You're only going to be on TV for about 20 minutes, okay?
Okay, so at 10:30, if I have another call, I don't have to move it, or I can keep it.
Well, you could probably take it at 10:30. It should be fine.
Okay.
Let me just introduce everybody. This is a special COVID-19 economy edition of the McGraw Report. I'm Harry McGraw, your host, and I got the executive director of the McGraw Foundation, along with one of my business partners from SNPs on the line. Harry McGraw is the executive director, and Doug Van Poppel, who worked with me on Brainware Safari program and SNPs program, is on the line. Good morning to you guys. Nice to see you guys again. This edition of the McGraw Report is about the economy right now, the COVID-19 economy. And along with that, we're looking for, people to chime in on some of the information. I've got my cousin Chad from Atlanta that's going to be chiming in. I think he's about to pop in now, but before I even talk to him, Doug, I want to start off with you, because this is what we call the money edition, bro. This is the money edition. And whenever I'm talking about making some money, I call you. But this COVID-19 stuff is shaking it up a little bit. Oh, there's my cousin, man. There's my cousin. What's up, cuz? What's up, Chad? This is Chad from Atlanta, Georgia. You called from Atlanta. What's up, bro?
Morning, Chad.
What's going on, cousin? Good morning.
I got my son, Harry McGraw III on there, president of executive director of the McGraw Foundation, and Doug Van Poppel from the SNPs and Brainware Safari programming companies. So we're in here talking about COVID-19 economy, and I know, Keisha is snapping out there in Atlanta right now. She got everybody masked up. I got my mask right here, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a mask up, man. She telling everybody in Atlanta to mask up, and the governor don't like it, huh? He got a lawsuit pending, right?
Wow.
Tripped out, huh?
They have some serious times going on down here, for sure.
Now, let me ask you, since we're talking about it, how is this whole social distancing affecting the economy down there in Atlanta, where people trying to reopen their businesses, trying to get their, restaurants and stuff back open,
It's really affecting the smaller businesses, because, they're opening, but it's like real slow. And, like I just said, I sent you the pictures when, we went down to New Orleans to my mom's and stuff. And you drive through even New Orleans, the city, the smaller businesses are just like ghost towns.
Wow.
But the larger corporations, the big brick and mortar buildings, they up and flourishing, people hanging out the door trying to get in, So it's just more of the small businesses are really hurting.
Now, Doug, I wanted to ask you, because a lot of your businesses are online. How is this economy affecting how you guys are able to perform in this economy?
My business is fortunately, after several years, I'm 47, Harry, and I've lived through situations probably not quite as dire as this, but it seems like there's one every decade or more often in our lifetime.
Probably.
I think the opportunity here for my partners and myself, which we span a couple different spaces, but that includes the legal cannabis space. We also have just recently launched in Chicago and also Atlanta the first Medicare and Medicaid and insurance-based transportation service in the city. And we'll be in that Medicare and Medicaid communities. So fortunately for us, I think with the Depression, cannabis has actually been on the rise. And in terms of healthcare, the necessary for transportation has been there. And some of the other businesses that you had mentioned earlier, such as Brainware, we're suffering with education. We don't even know if the students will go back to school where that is a needed market. And as the economy falls consistently, advertising dollars are always the first to go. So, the advertising companies struggle just like the rest of the companies mentioned.
Well, it seems like it's a double-edged sword right now. I know there's been a lot of new companies popping up. Harry, you could comment on this. You started a new service company dealing with construction, right? In this economy.
Yeah, that's correct. Over the last 60 days, I had created an LLC. I am officially a licensed contractor. But nevertheless, when we're focusing on the economy due to COVID-19, I feel like that this is energy doesn't die, it just gets transformed. And a lot of brick and mortar businesses are going out of, are actually depleting. And I think this is something that people were seeing ahead of time with Amazon. So I'm not too shocked about what's going on right now. And I think that what's going on is the playing field has been leveled. And the reason why I say the playing field has been leveled, now you have a lot of people are competing with restaurants now. I have never seen so many individuals that are sitting back and are having more traffic. Now that traffic that was going to Kmart or Marshall's, now they're going to the online businesses. Now people are selling food at their house. Now people are having stands outside. So I think what's so great about what's going on is, we have America, and that's what America provides opportunity. So there's two different ways that we can look at it. And fortunately, the ones that has some type of foresight, such as Doug, he was in he was far ahead of his time. And now his situation looks like a huge opportunity, especially when the inconsistency of education for the rest of the year.
Now, that's a good point. I know when we talked about doing stuff online years ago, nobody really ever thought about it in terms of a pandemic. Now,
right,
because it's 1.3 million new unemployment claims, Chad, this year in the month of July. Okay, 1.3 million new claims. It's 10 million people who lost their jobs, man. I know they got to be feeling that down there in Georgia, man, especially with the service industry.
Oh, definitely. Georgia as a whole is like a tourist state. I won't even say the individual cities. I mean, Georgia, people love to come to Georgia for the weather, for the, entertainment, things like that, conventions. Mm-hmm. It's definitely being felt. I mean, you go in stores now, you may see 2 or 3 people working in a big store. I'm talking about a huge store. It's just devastating. It's really affecting the economy.
Now, my opinion is, to be completely honest with you, if we check out the amount of relief that has been distributed to several countries, America has the most relief. When we're talking about stimulus, we're talking about PPP, we're talking about the SBA economic injury disaster loans, America has provided the most relief out of all of the countries, in my opinion, for small business and for the average individual. To add on to what this gentleman was saying is, I believe a huge amount of people that are currently listed as unemployed was people that was already unemployed. See, what we got to understand is they just opened up a door of people to be eligible for unemployment. So you're talking about individuals. Excuse me.
Right.
We're talking about individuals who are 1099, who might make $1,000 a year, now being approved for unemployment. So I think that this is a perfect storm, to be totally honest with you.
Let me ask Doug this, because one of the things that came out was the loan forgiveness program. We talked about relief, right? Now that loan forgiveness program,
PPP.
they had a requirement that you had to rehire 75% of your employees to have that loan forgiven, Doug. Is that a goal? I mean, did you try to get some of that relief cash when the COVID hit? Did you have to lay some people off, or what happened?
Fortunately, Harry, for us, we were able to, weather the storm. We're a very small team and very unique businesses that function highly technology based, and we were able to self-fund through the opportunities. But in regards to the opportunity, as we were just discussing, unemployment is at a ridiculous rate, approximately 42%.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Working America are actually unemployed. So sharing a number of 1 million people filing for new claims only last week in Illinois is really a misleading government number. You really have to talk about the real numbers. The economy's lost about $14 trillion. And you talk about a comeback, but the people that are making the comeback that need the stimulus aren't getting stimulus as package, Harry. You can't have the Catholic Church taking billions of dollars, commonly known as one of the richest institutions in the world, and being awarded that money. You can't give 42% of the population that is unemployed $1,200 in a stimulus package, $18,000 to a business. Why is a business more important than our neighbors' human rights?
I agree. Wow. Now that brings me to another point, and I want to talk about the fact that 42% of these COVID layoffs will be permanent, is what they're saying. 42%. So that's not a good number. But Trey, you brought up the stimulus checks, the PPE and stuff like that. Now, the extension of the unemployment is supposed to expire soon. They're talking about the end of the month, they're going to cut the $600 off. And they're also talking about the moratorium on evictions that they have going on. That expires on the 25th. Now, what in your opinion is the trickle-down effect of that?
Okay, now the trickle-down effect of this situation, number one, far as the rent situation, the trickle-down effect, I believe that, of course, there's going to be more evictions, and there's going to be more people that are going to need assistance. And currently in Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot had, I believe, a $5 million fund for people rental assistance, but unfortunately, it was a lottery. And they only chose a little bit over 1,000 people that actually qualified. No, actually, excuse me, that was the small business grant that she had. But what I'm saying is she still had a similar program with the rental assistance. So I believe that, yes, there are going to be an uprise on evictions, and there's going to be an uprise on grants as well, on help. But what I think what's going on is it's forcing the public to mentally reevaluate their future. And it's a pretty brilliant situation. You have people that are in the age of 50, 60 years old, having the most time of their life, getting transforming their brick and mortar business to online, people learning about blockchain, just like the Twitter hack yesterday. That was the biggest press to me in cryptocurrency history, to have them type of individuals.
Yeah, but that wasn't a good press.
It wasn't good for the Twitter. People who doesn't hold cryptocurrency. See, that's what you understand. See, now, because the way that it works is if I'm a holder and you're interested and you coming in after me, then I kind of reap the benefits and like that, because it's a limited supply.
Well, it sounds like the people that hacked it all got together and bought an island. Now they're gone. We can't find them. Nobody can find them.
Yeah, it sounds like the movies.
It's so
everything's
crazy.
a stage. It's a stage right now. It really is.
Chad, let me ask you this, Chad. The moratorium on the mortgages and stuff like that. The mortgage situation, they had a forbearance policy in place for 90 days. I think that's going to expire on the 25th as well. How are people trying to hold on to their homes in this particular time? What are they doing to make up that forbearance money? Is Keisha doing anything in Atlanta about that?
It's some things that are being done, but overall, people are just trying to work with their lenders. That's the main thing that the mayor is telling everybody to do. Call your lenders. Don't just sit back and wait for something to happen, because you might, wake up, on the street somewhere. A lot of people have, like I said, tried to come up with alternative ways of, income, like the gentleman was saying, the online presence, doing more things, starting to do more businesses out of their homes. It's just, it's bad, but I think it'll get better, but it's up to us as individuals to, seek out those opportunities, because a lot of people are just sitting back waiting for something to happen or waiting for the government to do, but we have to, motivate ourselves.
I feel like it's necessary. I feel like everything that's going on far as getting people, it's like this, it's like, it's a famous line by Dan Pena. I believe he was saying, being uncomfortable is necessary. And a lot of people don't do anything unless they're being put in situations, So I think this is very healthy for America, because it's going to birth a whole new generation of leaders. It's going to expose the hands of the individuals who are not prepping. It's going to expose the hands of the individuals who are not, who doesn't have drive and doesn't have ambition. So I think this is very necessary, because if we understand that the United States is kind of highly regulated with so many things, unlike China, unlike China. I'm talking about far as science, far as tech, with the whole Huawei situation. So I think that this is a perfect storm to lower regulations and birthing a new generation of leaders and a new America.
All right. Well, you guys, I want to tag my show real quick. This is a special edition of the McGraw Report, the COVID-19 economy edition of the McGraw Report. I got Mr. Harry McGraw from the McGraw Foundation and McGraw Services, Chad Best from Atlanta, Georgia, cousin Chad over there in Atlanta, and I got my good friend Doug Van Poppel from Snips and all the other things he's been doing with Brainware Safari software and all the other stuff. This is the cash edition, COVID-19 edition of the McGraw Report. Now, listen, I want to run one thing by you, Doug, and this is something that I think we have to talk about, which is some of the businesses that have insurance, the restaurant business, for example. You and I were down at Carmine's for cocktails not too long ago. We had to sit outside with masks on. There was social distancing. And some of these restaurants are saying now that they have this business interruption insurance in place when they took their business insurance out, and the insurance companies are not paying the claims. What is going on where the insurance companies are trying to renege now? I mean, this is something that's needed in these restaurants because they're only running at 50% capacity, Doug. I mean, how are they keeping their doors open?
Harry, I think the problem isn't as simple as the question that you propose. I think that as we discussed that day at Carmine's, and I hope I'm taking the answer in a clear direction here, but I feel that today we're at the end of a game of Monopoly. And as your son said, this should birth tons of opportunity, and he expressed interest in cryptocurrencies, so forth, as an opportunity for every American or every individual. Right now, if you feel that society is stymied or suffering and you play Monopoly, the global population of about 90% of the people are paid on about 10% of the world's wealth. The world's wealth is controlled, 90% of the world's wealth is controlled by 2% of the population. So something literally has to break to actually drive financial stimulus back into these markets, because the money is not in the market and available for use for it.
Yeah.
So there has to be factors on this. Now, in regards to insurance companies, that system is proven broken. It's been stalled since prior to Obama.
Yeah.
And,
and nobody could even get a court date.
Is rampant. It is the number one government problem with Medicare and Medicaid. So, investing into companies that don't return your money, you might be safer finding a community-based service of a restaurant association in your neighborhood where you come together with your co-op competitors, if you will.
Okay.
So even with your competition, you're building a community-based support system. I think that the model has to change. I'm not a huge believer in, the insurance market generally delivering a greater good, particularly in the business space above and beyond the healthcare.
I agree with you totally. I agree.
Now, Father, Mr. McGraw. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the resurgence of accountability in the Black community? Once again, the unfortunate George Floyd situation, the unfortunate, the attention that's going towards what happened is once again rebirthing accountability, unity with with African Americans. And I live in Chicago currently, and I see now people are having the flag. The black, red, and green flag. And that's something that, I never seen in my lifetime. And it's a beautiful thing. So now, once again, we're birthing entrepreneurs. We're birthing keeping dollars within each other. So there's going to be a beautiful flower, birth out of the situation when it's all said and done. I just want to know what's your opinion about that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's going to take a little time. I've already kind of reserved the rest of the year for protecting myself against COVID-19, just on the strength of my age and the shape I'm in and what I have to do. But I do think that after we get through this year and after all the dust settles and they start really putting the economy first with a new stimulus package, they're probably going to end up doing another $1,200 PPE package, along with some additional funds for people to handle these mortgages and handle these business loans, because they didn't really get it right the first time out of the gate. Some of these loan packages were kind of jumbled up, and the application process was crazy. People couldn't really go online and get it. And when it came to the African American community, there was little to no participation. A lot of the big companies got it. So I'm thinking once they figure it all out, it'll trickle down a little bit to us, and then we can start working and earn.
You have a lot of faith in a system that's been broken for many years, Harry, and is consistently only paid out the top individuals. I think there needs drastic, radical change.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree, and I definitely think that this situation has exposed the financial system. This system has exposed the servers. It's just, we need a whole new infrastructure. You know what I mean? I feel like we're heading to the fourth industrial revolution, which I think Doug knows exactly what I'm talking about. And like I say, for payments to not be like emails, for people trying to apply for unemployment, it's crashing. What happened was we got exposed. The financial system got exposed, the schools got exposed, politicians getting exposed, and that's healthy.
That's what I was going to mention. I'm glad you brought that up. Cuz, listen, I need to know, what is Keisha going to do about the schools opening up? Has they talked it all about? Because I'm worried.
That's another thing. The schools are ran by the individual counties, and they are some Atlanta schools, but I know my son, he's in Gwinnett County, and they have pretty much said that they're going to start in late August, which I'm not a big fan of. for safety reasons, of course, not because I don't want them to learn, because they do a lot of online stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But individual, counties and everything, they want to open in late August, but we'll see. We'll see.
Doug, if they don't open the schools, doesn't that directly affect federal dollars that these cities and states are supposed to receive based on bodies in the seats?
It does. It also affects the children directly, more important than the funding to open the schools, but with social lunch programs, so forth, creating a greater strife and challenge for our parents and our communities.
Yeah. So that's
far-reaching effects of, a child, right now the growth in the coronavirus in the Chicagoland market is the population under 29. So that young adult population, and that young adult population isn't the population truly at risk of being in danger of COVID. The population at risk is that under 29 child coming home, bringing it to their grandparent or their parent and suffering a greater loss and within their own family environment and within our
that's a big risk right now.
The ability to not utilize money that's been spent on infrastructure is ridiculous. The opportunity not to move education into an effective model and fund it effectively. Education is another social service that's rife with fraud, abuse, and waste from our government system.
All right. Well, guys, you know what? I need a final comment. I'll start with Harry, then Doug, then Cuz. Go ahead, Harry.
Okay. Now, just to summarize everything, in my opinion, of this entire situation and conversation, first, I'd like to thank all the gentlemen for being here today and, having dialogue. For my final comment is, let's make America great again. Let's aim our focus on the brighter side. It's called duality. There's always two different sides to look at it. And right now, I feel as an individual that's a single father that's raising an 11-year-old child, I feel like I'm a competitive person. And I feel very prideful to know that I have an opportunity to homeschool my child. I have an opportunity to be self-sufficient and provide my own dollars. I have an opportunity to say, hey, I am a young African-American general contractor that can work for other African-American clients that might want to just keep the dollar going. So I feel like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm just so grateful to be where I'm at and know what I know. So I just want to say that.
Okay, Doug.
I welcome change. I believe that the change necessary as we continue to grow in population size and community advancement. I think that the opportunity to actually overhaul the system is in place, as been discussed by the McGraw's family here. Additionally, be a scholar of history. Most great civilizations that have some form of constitution or leadership generally only last about 400 years before there has to be a major overhaul. I mean, look at the Roman Empire and again, as we discussed, the Industrial Revolutions. Those are brought about by massive change, by little changes that can be caught on fire and grow into a mass. So I think we really need to embrace this. I think we need to really encourage our politicians to actually recognize our voices again and provide social services dollars to the people, not to businesses, not to militaries, but actually invest in our communities, our people, and our home, and show what we can with their side.
Go ahead, Cuz. You get the final say. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think this COVID situation, this pandemic, has really opened a lot of people's eyes. It really has, to, like the other gentlemen were saying, it's just exposed a lot of things that have been going on or have not been going on. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity during the pandemic that we get it right. We say, oh, well, this is happening. We need to be more proactive with this, that, and the other. So I definitely think that it has sparked something, and then it's going to be positive for a positive change. Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on this Zoom meeting. It's been very, very informative, and I want to thank you guys and CAN TV. I want to thank you for allowing us to put this on TV and to share our views about what's happening. This is the McGraw Report. I'm Harry McGraw with Harry McGraw III, Doug Van Poppel, and Chadrick Betts in Atlanta. Talk to you guys next time on the McGraw Report. Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Right.
All right.